I don't know about you guys, but that intro gets me so hyped up. It's Whiskey here with another episode of Whiskey Cooks with a Dash of Salt. The place you go to see me cook up something good in the kitchen and listen to history that will leave someone involved a bit salty. In today's show, we'll be taking a look at the tastiest rebellion this side of the Atlantic Ocean, the Bacon Rebellion. We're going to pair with it a staple of any hangover breakfast, a bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich with a bit of a twist. Now, before we get to the kitchen and to the story, don't forget to sprinkle some salt on that like button, order up that subscribe button, and sprinkle just a dash of salt on that share button. The recipe for this will be in the description below and at the end of the video, so you can serve this quick, easy breakfast anytime. Now, what's the best way to make bacon hot? The best way to make bacon hot is to be the governor of Virginia in 1676 and have bacon come to you and ask to do the thing, and tell bacon no, he can't do the thing. That'll make bacon pretty hot. Now, for some context. By the mid 1600s, Jamestown, Virginia had gone from an almost failing settlement to a prosperous and exciting destination for settlers coming over from Europe. This prosperity had come after droughts, starvation, and attacks by Native American tribes. Despite these early setbacks, Jamestown and the later established James City County began to expand and thrive. Part of this expansion included settlers moving up north to a frontier called the Northern Neck on the western bank of the Chesapeake Bay. This rapid expansion would go smoothly. No problems whatsoever, smooth sailing until there was a war declared. Over land and resources, of course. By 1670, these constant clashes had pushed some tribes completely out of Virginia. So now the settlers were happy, and no one was angry, and everyone lived in harmony, except they didn't. The colonial governor of Virginia was William Berkeley. He, like most landowners at the time, had accumulated a great amount of wealth with the tobacco boom of the last few decades. Even with sky-high colonial taxes, wealthy men like Berkeley used their crops to pay taxes. Their crops to pay taxes. I would love to pay my federal income tax by giving them a handful of tomatoes and like an ear of corn from my backyard. The poorer class, made up of non-landowners and indentured servants, couldn't pay the taxes, of course, and struggled. In the beginning of the 1670s, the tobacco prices fell. Poor farmers wanted to expand westward and find unused land. Unused meaning unused by settlers, of course. Native Americans, still claiming these lands as ancestral, were not happy and attacked. The settlers called on Berkeley to send militia support. And he said no. Kind of surprisingly. This is Colonial America, where we tried to take over the whole thing, right? Well, this is where Bacon comes in. Nathaniel Bacon. He had just arrived in the colony and was ironically related to Berkeley through marriage. He saw what he considered to be unfairness to the settlers from Berkeley, while Berkeley believed he, like any good politician, was just trying to keep the peace. In March of 1676, Bacon attacked a tribe that was friendly with the settlers. Afterwards, he went to Governor Berkeley and asked him for a favor, and it probably sounded something like this. Hey, you, hey, Governor, the governor that I'm related to, by marriage. How you doing, huh? What do you want, Baconator? Hey, well, I need a favor. Just quick little favor, Some Native Americans attacked me. They stole like most of my coin. Most of my coin. I heard you attacked them first. What? What? No, attack them first. I don't even know what that means. Don't even know what that means. Right, so I need some, soldiers or like money for soldiers. For what? So I can attack them. Again. This made Bacon mad. This made Bacon very mad. This made Bacon so mad he was hot. It made him so hot he was crispy. Crispy bacon. Like the crispy bacon on the sandwiches we're whipping up. He drank a ton of brandy, a move I wholeheartedly support, and did what any person drunk on brandy does. Forms a militia and rebels. They ran into a group of Native Americans from the Occaneechi tribe and enlisted them to help attack a group of Susquehannock Native Americans that were coming to attack the rebels. The militia was victorious and celebrated with the Occaneechi by massacring them, because that's the best way to celebrate. Berkeley was crispy mad as well and branded Bacon a rebel. Berkeley held elections at a spur of the moment to help put down this rebellion for good. It was a great idea. Awesome. Way forward thinking, law and order, elect this legislative body, and Bacon got elected to the legislative body created to stop him, damn it. Bacon arrived in Jamestown and apologized to Berkeley publicly, and Berkeley didn't accept it, which pissed Bacon off. And then Bacon was kicked out of the city, which pissed him off even more. And he responded by gathering troops and marching on Jamestown and demanding again, let me lead a fight against the Native Americans. Berkeley again refused. So Bacon stomped around Virginia like a mad little child, gathering more troops and clashing with tribes that were friendly towards the settlers until these clashes, which of course would turn them kind of unfriendly against you. Branding Bacon a rebel and traitor. Branding Bacon. Brandy bacon. I can get behind some brandy bacon. Branding Bacon a rebel and traitor. Berkeley also stomped around Virginia like a mad child for a while and then returned to Jamestown so that he can issue a proclamation against Bacon once and for all. Bacon, so much bacon, and his militia charged into Jamestown, burning it to the ground on September 19th. Now, got a pop quiz for you guys. What is the best way, the fastest way, the most efficient way to piss off the crown? If you guessed burning down one of the colonial cities, you would be right. The crown was ready to issue a proclamation in October against Bacon. How did Bacon respond? By dying of dysentery. Worst Oregon Trail death ever, which is a reference my 80s and early 90s friends will get. After Bacon's death, Berkeley returned to Jamestown and crushed what little remained of the rebellion. Peacefully crushed by hanging 23 of the rebels. Quote, he would have hanged half the country if they had let him, said one observer. Well, they didn't let him, and then he was fired by the commission sent by King Charles. So, he traveled to England to beg for his job back, and he did it in the best way possible, by dying before he got to see the king. God, there's a lot of death, like everyone, just so much dying. So now that all these key players in this rebellion are gone, that should be it, right? Rebellion's over, Berkeley's dead, Bacon's dead. There's no lingering effects, right? Everyone just kind of goes on with their lives, no aftermaths. Come on, guys. It's colonial America. Of course, there are aftermaths. There are like all the aftermaths. The biggest and by far most negative impact this rebellion had was how slavery was viewed and then would be legislated in the coming years. Slaves from Africa had been brought over decades before this rebellion. However, in this early stage of colonial America, the harsh laws that would define generations, lead to a civil war, and in some cases be felt even today, hadn't been established yet. And we're talking things like the Dred Scott case and Three-Fifths Compromise, Missouri Compromise, things like that. However, during the rebellion, Bacon had been joined by many black slaves and servants while rampaging around Virginia. There were claims that Bacon did not have control over these people, and that sent shockwaves through the colony. This would lead to legislation in the coming years that would increasingly distinguish the separation based off skin color. Bacon's rebellion, in some cases, is credited with igniting the firestorm of racial distinctions that would define this nation. As for the Native Americans, they lived happily ever after on their ancestral lands until they too realized they were in the crosshairs of an angry colony, especially the Occaneechi, who had helped Bacon early in the rebellion. They fled their ancestral lands and eventually merged with another tribe. In 2004, almost 330 years after the rebellion, a small group of Occaneechi descendants bought back a 25-acre parcel of their ancestral lands. It was the first time in over 250 years that the Occaneechi tribe would own land to call their own. That's it for Bacon's Rebellion. It left, I guess, everyone involved salty or dead. Salty or dead. Yeah. Let me tell you guys, I picked Bacon's Rebellion based off of what I was going to cook. I try to pair what I'm cooking with a story. So I thought breakfast sandwich, which has bacon, bacon in history, a rebellion about bacon. Cool, right? When I started researching this, I had no idea the shockwaves that this rebellion had, how far-reaching it was. I thought it was just a little uprising in the 1600s when I first started reading about it. And to see that some of the consequences lasted generations, to me was mind-blowing, and I really went down the rabbit's hole on this. I could have spent hours dissecting this rebellion and talking about all the aftermaths, but I would take way more than one video and a lot more food, which I'm never, ever against. So I recommend checking it out if it's something you'd be interested in. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Whiskey Cooks with a Dash of Salt. As always, stay safe, take care, and stay feisty. Keep cooking.